Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. John F. Kennedy once said, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. I'm dogmatic in my belief that Joe Vignati has made a difference in the lives of his professional peers, and most importantly, the lives of children who we all serve. I'm emphatic Joe has made a difference in my life, helping me to become an effective SAG chair, a better judge, and Joe, even a better person. His career in juvenile justice expands 24 years. He started in 1987 as a youth development worker. Joe and I we've had many occasions to reminisce of our juvenile justice past. I will not share all of them. I will only share just a few serious ones. But Joe told me once that his passion to help kids began at the very start, in that job as a youth development worker. In this job, he watched kids with mental health afflictions get dumped into our detention centers there in Georgia. He watched with disdain kids suffering from hurt or with hurt, from family dysfunction, kids hurting from learning disabilities or having an emotional behavior disorder, and kids hurting or suffering from depression, getting locked up for making adults mad. And that was their only crime. Joe once said, I know I can't fix the system, but I can sure try to fix these kids one at a time. Joe went on to work with kids in the community as a probation officer. He did this for several years. And after several years of doing this and gaining yet more experience one-on-one and knowing kids out there in the community and in their homes and in the schools, he was promoted to a residential placement specialist. And I think now you begin to see the picture why Joe became a juvenile justice specialist, because he's developing this skill, this knowledge, okay? And so in that, he began to understand the budgetary constraints and the importance of prioritizing and what kids need to go here and there. But in that, Joe would tell me in our conversations how much it hurt him that he knew there were kids that needed to go here, but there just wasn't enough money. Well, from there, he was appointed to serve as the very first case expediter in Georgia with the Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice. Joe was walking that road less traveled. You know what I'm talking about. The journey was still unraveling, though. In 2001, Dr. Pete Colbinson, Executive Director of Georgia's State Advisory Group, hired Joe to coordinate the Juvenile Accountability Block Grant. Remember that, Pete? Mm-hmm. Well, Joe's talents were quickly recognized by Pete, who made Joe his deputy the following year. Well, soon thereafter, Joe assumed the responsibilities of the juvenile justice specialist from his mentor and his friend. And I want you to know, Pete, with your back turned and in private conversations, that's how Joe has described you. Okay? I know you don't believe it. Nonetheless, Joe's knowledge of juvenile justice and his skill to deliver services was acknowledged by all in Georgia that are involved in all facets of the criminal justice system. And how is that shown? Because in 2007, he was appointed to the Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, where he worked toward helping his colleagues on the adult side to spend more money on the front end to help kids so they won't be a customer of adult corrections. And then in 2008, after the retirement of Dr. Colbinson and the restructuring of our state advisory group, Joe was appointed Director of Justice Programs. He was soon thereafter commended by the governor, Sonny Perdue, by written commendation for his contributions to the children of Georgia, saying the citizens of Georgia are thankful for his ongoing contributions to the protection and well-being of Georgia's children. For over a decade, ladies and gentlemen, Joe has served a resource to all us judges there. I know, I'm past president of the Council of Juvenile Court Judges. And I'm telling you right now, I've had many judges tell me one-on-one how much they respect and appreciate Joe and what he has meant to us at the Council of Juvenile Court Judges in directing us with his special skills and knowledge and how we need to go about doing things. I mean, time and time again, Joe has called me up, and he's called up judges. He said, now wait a minute, okay? We're showing an increase in the detention of status offenders. We need to do something about it, and we'd get together because of Joe's leadership and foresight and his abilities and skill to know how to articulate and be diplomatic, and he knows how to win people over. Finally, his juvenile justice specialist peers elected him to serve as the co-national juvenile justice specialist. You know, to those juvenile justice specialists in this audience, you know him. You know why you elected him. You know his amenable and kind disposition, how he's there to help, never turning anyone away. You know his knowledge, his skills, his abilities, the tremendous credibility that Joe commands in our field, and his compassion for the kids, for this coalition for juvenile justice, and for you and me as individuals. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to present to you Joe Vignati, this year's recipient of the Tony Gobar Outstanding Juvenile Justice Specialist Award, and my dear colleague and my dear friend. And I want to say this one last thing. We would all do well to emulate his characteristics. Thank you, Joe.
Go, Joe.
I'm excited and humbled to receive the Tony Gobar Award. I have, like Al here, have had the fortune of knowing Tony. Being chosen to receive this award is a great honor for me, and it carries the name of a great man, whose example many people, myself included, have been inspired by and have tried to live by. Over the past 8 years, Tony has become a symbol of excellence and hope, and those are two qualities that are always worthy to follow. So what to say? I thought long and hard about all the past deserving recipients and all the things that they've done over the years to improve the lives of juveniles, and I was humbled again. Pat Severa from Colorado, so smart. Larry Carter, so dedicated. Dick Lindahl, Dick's in the back, I think, yeah. Dick, who stepped up and stepped in when nobody else would. Sandy Rempe and all the work that they've done in Missouri. And last year's recipient, Chris Kervick, my brother in spirit. I never thought that I would stand in their company, and I racked my brain. What did they all say when they were standing up here? Being blessed with a poor memory, I did now what we all do when we need an answer. I turned to Google. And I came across wonderful words, Dr. Martin Luther King, Winston Churchill, Mother Teresa, Kofi Annan, Oprah. Thank you, Stephen. Well, that was a big mistake, Joe, because after reading their words, how could my small words ever compare to theirs? Fortunately, the internet has a wealth of information on speeches, and also tons of practical speech-making tips. Helpful advice like, tears are okay, in moderation. Memorize your speech. Don't have a slip of paper. You look more authentic and humble. Sorry. Stay focused. You have a lot to say, but focus on the issue at hand. And most importantly, one wardrobe malfunction can ruin the whole night. Wear a bra. Thanks, Derek. Seriously. I would not be here standing before you to receive the Tony Gobar Award without the love and support of so many people. My beautiful, supportive, amazing wife, Catherine, here in the front row. Our 4 wonderful children, Kendall, Sydney, Brennan, and Riley. I'd like to thank my mom, Kathleen Rodman, and my stepfather, Jack Rodman. I'd like to thank my father, Romeo, and of course, my SAG chair, Judge Steve Teske. Truly my kindred spirit on this journey. And I could not have done this without all the support of all the specialists from around our great country. And I see Meg from Colorado here, Catherine from Maine, and I don't see them, but I know they're in there. I know Kathy's here from Louisiana. I know Mark, our former specialist from New Jersey. I could not have done it without you guys, and I thank you so much for all your support and all your dedication. 11 years ago, I had the great fortune to work for Dr. Pete Colvinson. And I learned firsthand from Pete about the protections of the JJDPA. And through Pete, I developed a passion for this work. To make this system better, to improve, to be able to look back one day and to be able to show we've made a real, measurable difference in the lives of children. And that seems like such an overwhelming challenge to make, I mean, think about it, to make a real, measurable difference in the lives of children. The juvenile system is complicated. There's so many disparate elements. Parents, schools, substance abuse, learning disabilities, sentencing guidelines, judicial discretion, racial inequities. A butterfly flaps its wings in Japan, and it causes a thunderstorm that waters cherry blossoms here in Washington. Seemingly random, but connected. Juvenile justice attempts to connect these dots. A child is sentenced to life without parole. Juvenile justice is crime prevention. A child suffers and acts out in response. Juvenile justice is child welfare. A child feels broken and breaks everything around them. Juvenile justice is reparation. Juvenile justice is all these things. Juvenile justice is what we do. Juvenile justice is what makes this country great, the right, and the light. The Tony Gobar Award that I'm honored to receive today symbolizes that light of hope. That light shines for our children now and will continue to shine long after we're gone. Thank you so much.